A type of rock is helping solve two environmental problems at the same time.
A team of Canadian scientists discovered limestone can save salmon while also offsetting emissions from oil and gas. NBC's Chase Kane shows us the global impact of rocks and rivers.
If you go way up the east coast, north of Maine to Nova Scotia, you'll find Donald Rutledge's home of 55 years.
I love it. I hope to stay here for a while.
But soon after he moved in, the lifeblood of this river started moving out, dying. The Atlantic salmon that spawned here struggled to survive because of acid rain. It was most intense in the 70s and 80s, caused by pollution from coal, oil, and gas.
Some of that rain could be slightly acidic. Acid rain, it's a rather unpleasant side effect of 20th century life.
Years after global governments largely addressed the toxic pollutants, the salmon still hadn't returned. In 2005, a young graduate student named Eddie Halfyard made it his focus, right here on the West River.
Downstream from here, and I caught my first ever Atlantic salmon on a fly rod many moons ago. So it does have a special place in my heart.
That research led Eddie to co-found Carbon Run, currently the only company in the world that's both offsetting fossil fuel pollution and healing the river's salmon call home, all by speeding up Earth's carbon cycle.
Humans have thrown that whole thing out of whack, and we have pumped a huge amount of CO2 into the atmosphere, effectively tipping that scale. And so what we need to do is go on the other side and, in essence, replace or speed up the process of eroding mountains and carrying it to the ocean.
Known as enhanced rock weathering, the simple process takes limestone, grinds it into powder, then mixes it with river water inside a silo like this.
And this is the end result. It's just water from this river being pumped right back into this river, except there's limestone added to it.
And the calcium in that limestone reacts with carbon dioxide in the water, creating a natural bicarbonate.
And really all it is the safer form of carbon in a river, taking it from the acid, which is the CO2, and making it something that's more useful. Of course, animals use it for their shells and their bones, and why not tap into what nature does so well to help us get back to where we need to be.
And independent climate scientists confirmed to me that this is a simple, straightforward approach, and that the big benefit is once the carbon makes its way down the rivers and eventually settles on the ocean floor, it'll be naturally stored there for tens of thousands of years. That, they say, is the real climate impact.
That's also how Carbon Run pays for this. Companies buying carbon credits to offset their own emissions.
We have some wonderful buyers to these global blue chip companies that look for quality carbon credits. And we're monitoring the carbon removal along the way. And so we're only counting what's actually been removed.
Sensors monitor the river 24/7, but the Carbon Run team also regularly takes a polar plunge to double check the old-fashioned way.
25.5.
And what started in this cold Canadian river is going worldwide, ready to expand across North America and Europe. In total, Carbon Run believes 400,000 rivers could benefit from their approach, and their conservative projection is that they could sequester 1 billion tons of carbon every year, roughly 10% of the global need.
What this offers is a system where we can use nature and learn from nature and really spur movement on having everybody understand the opportunity in front of us.
And someone who already understands is Donald, seeing salmon return to his river, something he wondered if his grandkids would ever see.
What I would say, the science was right on it. Proof is in the pudding, like I've seen it. But it's a double thing now. It's twice as good as it was just by saving the salmon.
In Nova Scotia, Canada, National Climate Reporter Chase Kane.
All that landscape also looked very familiar. Could have been right here along our coast.